here, the Gratitude Addict. It has been a hot minute since I have done a vlog, and yeah, things have been a little nutty, but in a good way. Last week was World Gratitude Day. Hosted a very big event, the Women of Gratitude live virtual roundtable, which featured 7 of the world's leading female experts in the field of gratitude, which was super exciting. We had 175 people signed up, which for me is big. It was just incredibly exciting, but a lot of work. So I've taken last week and this week, my Thursday night broadcast is on temporary hiatus for me to rest, reboot, recover, recoup, and just take a little bit of a break. So I had intended on doing this anyway, just kind of taking a end of summer break, and I'll be back actually next week, next Thursday, with an all new live episode where Andrea Hansen will actually be back. She is the author of the book Live Your Life, Not Your Diagnosis, as well as the podcast. I was a guest on her amazing podcast, which I think only debuted just a couple months ago, and it is really getting so popular. So I was very humbled and honored to be a part of this wonderful podcast. I am on my way to shop. I hate shopping. It's one of my most hated things. Food shopping, I actually enjoy because I love to cook. But unfortunately, well, I do need to do some food shopping today too. But we have a family wedding on Saturday, which I'm excited about for sure. But my uniform, my daily wear is gratitude shirts and jeans or shorts, overalls maybe, but gratitude shirts. So I need a dress for the wedding. I may have a couple things in my closet that I could wear, but I also have another wedding in like 3 weeks. So we've got a wedding, we've got 2 weeks off, and then another wedding, which is kind of crazy. You know, I was just telling my friend Magdalena that, you know, when you're in your 20s, maybe 30s, early 30s, I feel like I was going to wedding after wedding after wedding every weekend because all of her friends are getting married, families getting married, and all of that. And then there's a lull, you know, through the like late 30s, all through the 40s, and now that I'm in my early 50s, my friends' kids are getting married. So I'm feeling this new influx of weddings starting to come again, and yeah, so I may have to get a couple dresses. I have a couple dresses. Again, I can probably wear one this Saturday, but I definitely need one for either this weekend or the one in 3 weeks. So I thought I would go shopping. It's not the shopping I hate so much. I think it's the trying on things. I can't stand trying on things. I actually get a lot of my clothes from Amazon. I have pretty good luck. I'm not the curviest person in the world, so I pretty much know my size. I mean, obviously it depends on the manufacturer or whatever, but you know, my jeans are Levi's, pretty standard. I know my size. T-shirts, I know my size. So I've got to go shopping. So I'm going to a store that I like. So I'm taking a road trip, but I wanted to come to you just to kind of say hi because it's been a while. But also there's been kind of an underlying theme through my work in the group this week, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, as well as all these readings that keep popping up and discussions with my moderators. And it has been the theme has been on kind of holding resentments, forgiveness of others and ourselves, letting go. Am I supposed to be taking this exit? I don't know. Waze isn't talking to me. Let me take a look real quick. Nope, not taking this exit. This is how much I shop. I don't even know my way to the mall. I mean, I do. This is kind of a newish mall for me that I don't go too often, but just checking. Yeah, so forgiveness, holding resentments, making amends. That's the other thing. That's been like this underlying theme through writing I've done in the group, kind of things that have been popping up in the group. And then these readings, I read to, or I send the daily readings from a book called Thriving as an Empath by Dr. Judith Orloff to my moderators each morning as kind of a good morning message, wish for us all to kind of start the day, on a positive note. These readings are awesome. I've done it for years with the moderator team, and they're just great. And so this morning was on, let's see, I'm trying to think of what this morning, I guess it was on holding resentments. And I've written about this many times before. I've done broadcasts on forgiveness and holding resentments. But I just kind of wanted to come to you through this vlog, through Gratefully Living My Chronic Life, and offer a few thoughts on forgiveness and holding resentments and making amends and all that. So when I was going to my 12-step group for drinking, AA, years ago, making amends is obviously a huge part of that program, because many of us through our drinking careers, and I'm now over 9 years sober, which I'm very proud of, a lot of us need to make amends to a lot of people for things we did during our drinking careers. Many of the people in the program have decades and decades and a lot of collateral damage that occurs through, our drinking careers. And while my alcoholic drinking was relatively short-lived, pretty much a year, a little bit under a year, I always liked to drink. I drank nightly a couple glasses of wine, but the bad stuff was really just less than a year. So my collateral damage isn't a lot, but I don't mean to diminish the damage that I did, for my family, my friends that I was close to. There were, lies, and also amends to myself for things that I did. So this was a topic that came up over and over again when I was going to Alcoholics Anonymous, making amends. I forget now, this is how long it's been. I forget which step it is. I think it might be, it's not 4. 4 is taking a fearless and moral inventory of ourselves. That's a scary one, because you've got to go through and nitpick, look at your drinking career and go through and see everything you did. That's where it comes to fruition. I forget where the making amends part was. It's towards the end of the 12 steps. Terrible. I'm such a terrible 12-stepper. I believe wholeheartedly in the 12 steps, so I just like to say that out loud. While I do not any longer go to AA, I don't ever say that I will never go back. And if anybody I knew was trying to get sober, that is the first place I would send them. I also went to 12-step meetings for chronic pain, Chronic Pain Anonymous. In fact, I started a meeting, the first meeting in New Jersey years ago out of rehab. So I believe the 12 steps can help us with so many things, eating disorders, gambling. I just think the 12 steps are an amazing way to go through life and to help us live our best lives and really look at ourselves and our role in things. And so with forgiveness, there's so many layers to it when it comes to living with chronic pain and illness. In order to find gratitude in our lives, in order to free ourselves up to practice gratitude, there are many things we need to forgive ourselves for. When you really look at things, I think the 12 steps helped me to realize that I was not the center of the universe. Imagine that. Not the center of the universe. And while I was in pain, I was the one living with the pain. My chronic pain and my drinking was a family disease. It was a family problem because I was not the only one affected. While I was the one actually, I was going to say, well, I was the one actually sick with it. That's not exactly true. Well, I was the one that it started with. I was the root of the problem. I made everybody around me sick. My kids, my husband, and I'm not talking in the physical sense, but emotionally and mentally ill. We were just in survival mode. And, Rob, my husband, was really just trying to keep the family together. My kids were teenagers at the time, which is a terrible, terrible time to go through my dark period. You know, your teen years are very formative, and so there was definitely amends to be made when it came to that. There's also something that they call living amends, which is, you know, in AA they say we cannot regret the past, nor do we wish to shut the door on it. And what they mean by that is, you know, I can take myself back to my rock bottom, which was June 20th, 2013, where I woke up in a hospital bed after driving drunk, not knowing how I got there. I still don't remember it, which tells you how drunk I was. I can take myself back to that day. While I don't remember the events, I do remember waking up and not knowing how I got there, seeing my parents' faces when I woke up just in such despair, obviously the hangover, and wondering how I got to this place and the humiliation and despair and misery I was in. I can bring myself back there very easily, and I can cry easily, because while it was so miserable, that is also the baseline for all of my gratitude, because I know that that day could have ended a whole lot differently for me. You know, I could be in prison for killing somebody, or I could be dead myself based on the way I was drinking and driving and what my blood alcohol level was. But honestly, you know, as much as I hate to say, if I had killed anybody, I would have wanted to be dead. I don't think I couldn't live with myself. I mean, but I thank God every day that that is not a part of my reality. I also believe that I was given a second chance, and that's why I choose to try to live my best life, the best life as possible, and I do so by utilizing the main tool of gratitude, because I've been given the second chance, and things could be so different for me today, or I could not be in existence. And so while I still live with chronic pain and illness, I try to walk the path of gratitude and intention to find joy and fulfillment and purpose, because I firmly believe that through gratitude and connection, and I say this all the time, that is the secret sauce to finding happiness through our struggles, such as chronic pain and illness, or whatever your struggles may be. And when I say pain comes in a lot of forms. It doesn't have to be physical. It can be emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, whatever your struggles are. Gratitude paired with connection is the secret sauce. I'm convinced of it. I have lived it for 9 years. I do it through the work in my community, through my Thursday night broadcast the past couple of years, and all the guests that I interview through this vlog, through my work and research, writing the books, and all of that. That is one thing I know for sure. A life of joy and purpose can be found through gratitude and connection. But I've done episodes on that. So today I really want to focus on forgiveness and why we need to forgive others and let go of the resentments that we hold. I have interviewed a few times Dr. Carrie Howells, who wrote the book Untangling You, or no, Untangling, is it Untangling Me or Untangling You? I can't believe I can't think of this. Untangling You, I'm pretty sure. Untangling You, How Can I Be Grateful When I Feel So Resentful? It's an amazing book, one of my top 3 favorite books on gratitude of all time. And what makes this book and her work so unique is that she talks about the role that resentments play in holding us back from finding true gratitude. She refers to it as true gratitude. And I mean that true gratitude, I mean it through finding pure gratefulness, living with gratitude, not just moments of feeling gratitude, but making gratitude a lifestyle and a mindset and an action and a emotion and, you know, an overall sense of well-being. We can find that true gratitude, but we need to release our resentments against others and against ourselves. Resentments, they say in AA, I quote them all the time, resentments, it has been said that having a resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You get what they're saying with that. And the Buddha has something very similar. Hang on, I'm getting off on an exit soon. The Buddha has something very similar that he says that was actually in this morning's reading in the book Thriving as an Empath. It was something about holding fire. I forget what it is. I'll try to add it to the video when I am home. But holding on to resentments does not, it only weighs us down. We often think that when we don't forgive someone for wronging us, it is damaging them. But it's not. It's not, because they don't know if we forgive them or not. And it's only weighing us down with that hurt and that resentment. They're walking along carefree. Well, I shouldn't say that. We don't know what they're doing. But we are not punishing them by holding on to resentment. We are only punishing ourselves. So we need to learn to let go of those resentments that we hold on so tightly to. Only then can we find, can we move forward and grow in gratitude. So letting go, it's a process of letting go, because many people, wrong us. They say hurtful things. I talk about the book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz all the time, because it is one of my favorite self-help books of all time, personal growth books. He talks about taking things personally. And this is one of the 4 agreements that I have had the most trouble with in my life, and I'm getting much better at it. He says that what others say or do to us has nothing to do with us and has everything to do with them. And if you don't have that book or haven't had a chance to read it or listen to it, I highly recommend it. It's a short little nugget of wisdom, 4 agreements to finding, true gratitude. That's not what the book is called, but finding freedom in our lives. And if you apply these 4 agreements to living your life, it's a wonderful way to live. Oh shoot, am I supposed to be going this way? Well, we'll see in a minute. No, I think I'm supposed to be going straight. Let me look for a minute, hang on. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be going straight. Can I go over here? Yes, I can. Okay. So we can start by not having the resentments in the first place, by not taking things personally. And this can be a challenge, because when others say or do crappy things to us, how do we not take that personally? It feels very personal. I had a incident recently where I had very hurtful things said and done to me, and it paralyzed me for a little bit, not a long time, but a couple days. And I really had to let go of that, because I recognized that it had everything to do with the other person and 0 to do with me. As long as I am living my best life and doing the best I can, which is another one of the 4 agreements, do your best. That's the agreement. As long as I'm doing my best and living my best life, I have nothing to be ashamed about. I can walk with my head held high, and what others say or do to me. Now, if I had done something wrong, I have to look inwardly and take ownership of that and make amends, which is the other part of forgiveness. We have to be able to get outside of ourselves, look at things rationally, and by practicing the pause, which is something else I talk all the time about, not reacting immediately. When things happen to us, if we are able to just take a breath, take a pause, before you react or say something that you might regret, take a pause, take a breather. And when we do that, even give it a day or 2, depending on what the situation is, we can look at the situation through clear eyes rather than in the heat of the moment. And then we can respond appropriately. But sometimes we do act in the heat of the moment, and we say things that we regret, hurtful things that are really done out of fear. When we say or do things that are hurtful to others, it is acting fear-based. It is all through some kind of fear. When you really peel back the layer of the onion, everything that we do or say is either based in love or it is based in fear. So when we do or say hurtful things to others, that is based in fear. So we need to be able to take ownership of what we have done or said and make amends as soon as we know it. Because the longer we let that sit, the more opportunity there is for hurt and for damaged relationships. Families fall apart, friendships fall apart. Now, if the person doesn't accept our apology, that's one thing. That's on them. But at least we can sit with ourselves and know that, yes, I did this. Yes, it was crappy, but I've apologized. And perhaps I've learned from that mistake. We can try to learn from our mistakes, look at them as lessons, and not stew in the regret of the moment. All right, guess what? I am here at this outdoor mall. I have to find out where White House Black Market is. That is a store I tend to have good luck in. So, it would be nice if I don't have to try on clothes. But anyway, I will talk more on this subject later. Thank you for listening, gang, and I'll check back in soon. Wish me luck. Hey, so it's a couple hours later. I was successful. Very successful. Too successful, as a matter of fact. We have 2 weddings coming up. I mentioned that already. I was only going to get a dress for one of them because I think I can make do with something else for the other, but I ended up getting for both. So, yeah. I hated every minute of trying it on, but I'm all set now. And so then I went to the grocery store. So I've been out all day. I'm tired and in pain. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm good. I'm heading, actually, I have one more stop since I'm out. I'm going to suck it up. Corn on the cob season is just about ready to finish. And my favorite farm stand, Country Fresh Farms in, I guess it's technically Washington, New Jersey. It's right down the street from me in Hunterdon County. They tell me there's maybe a week left. So I'm panicking. I'm in panic mode. I love, love, love New Jersey corn in the summertime is the best. My farm stand, I will shake it down with the best of you. My farm stand is the best. Consistently voted the best in the county of Hunterdon County, New Jersey. But yeah, so what I do is I buy in bulk, cook it, cut it off the cob, and freeze it for the winter. I hoard it like a little squirrel in my cheeks. This corn is that good. It's that good. And Ralph and I, we love it so much. It's only the 2 of us at home. So I'm getting 2 dozen ears like once a week with the full intention of cooking it, eating part of it, freezing the rest. What happens is we eat it all. So right as of now, I have 1 quart-sized freezer bag in the freezer for the winter. So I'm panicking. So I am going to go to the farm stand and load up on more corn. I got 2 ears a week ago. Used some of that on our camp out. And it's gone. It's gone. I finished it last night. So time to hoard up like a squirrel. It was funny. This is totally off subject, but when I was there last week, I asked Sherry, the owner, the farmer, how much longer, and she said, oh, another week or 2. And I said, okay, I just needed to know if oops, that wouldn't have been good, if I needed to panic yet. And she said, no, it's not time to panic. I still ended up with 2 dozen ears of corn. And she's like, so this is you not panicking? This is true. Okay, so I wanted to tie up this conversation on forgiveness. So I've already talked about getting rid of our resentments against others and how that frees us up and how we need to give ourselves permission to do this because it's just a heavy weight. We are in pain already of some kind, whatever your pain is. We have enough on our plate. We put way too much stress on ourselves, guilt on ourselves. We don't need to carry the weight of that boat bozo that hurt you. If you really can fully find it in your heart, possibly pray on it, meditate on it, to actually forgive, to fully forgive, fantastic, you've released it. If you still are harboring a bit of a resentment, do what you can. Again, meditate, prayer, ruminate on it, write it in a journal, write down what that person said and did, why it was hurtful for you, and what it is doing for you to continue holding on to that hurt and resentment. Is it helping you? Do you feel like it's giving that other person a slap in the face and punishing them? It's not. Writing it down, if you're not a prayer, is that a word, prayer? If you're not a person that prays, like prays to a higher power, meditate on it. If you don't do that either, journal it, write it down, write down the whole situation. Or another tip, and I've used this for chronic pain before, write that person a letter without ever having the intention on sending it. Tell them why it hurt, how it made you feel, how it has continued to carry through. Then throw it in the garbage, rip it up, burn it, whatever you need to do. Release it, throw it away, give it up to God or whatever your higher power is. You don't need to hang on to that any longer. And let me just finish up with this. Hanging on to resentments and forgiving others also applies to us. Why do we need to forgive ourselves? What are we hanging on to? It's funny. I find that often I will resent myself for things that I've done in the past. Clearly, I share this all the time about my dark past, what I did with my family. I already shared about that earlier in this video. It would be really, really easy for me to lose sleep over everything that I did. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing great, good, even remotely good about what I did. I hurt my family. It took us years. We're still recovering 9 years later. I mean, not much, but things, a memory will still creep in here and there from one of the kids, and it stings. It stings a lot. But in a way, I'm glad, because again, we will not forget the past nor wish to shut the door on it. Those things keep me walking the path of gratitude. They keep me doing the next right thing. They keep me focused. They keep me loving life and trying to live my best life. And continuing on with this personal growth journey. When I hear those things, it reminds me, because you know how our minds get. Our minds forget. We're forgetful beings. And so there's actually, I'll post a link to it in the show notes. I was fortunate enough, honored to be featured as one of the people interviewed for a wonderful article in the Atlantic this week. Gloria Liu is her name. She interviewed me a couple months ago. She's writing a piece. She published a piece on Friday about why we're grateful for our health only after we recover from something. So she had a bout of stomach poisoning. It knocked her out, really knocked her out for an entire weekend. She was sick as a dog, vomiting, the whole thing. And by Sunday, she's seeing a glimmer of having it dissipate. And she's so grateful for a good night's sleep and not vomiting any longer and feeling halfway normal. And that pink cloud, or that light, that gratitude lasted a good couple days. And then she says in the article, until she went back to work and started diving into her emails and all that, and eventually that feeling of gratitude waned. And that's just, normal human nature. That's just what we do. So that experience for her prompted her to want to research and dive into, can we be grateful for our health? Can we continue on with that gratitude and make it more prolonged rather than just lasting a few days? She came across me, my group, my work, and said, hey, there's people here who live with chronic, forever pain, long-term pain, everyday pain, 24/7 pain, who practice gratitude. So she was very intrigued. Anyway, she wrote, why did I bring this up? The article, talking about forgetfulness, that's why. So she forgot about her, okay. So we forget how bad things are. So having those reminders, like a memory from one of my kids or whatever, and they're not saying it at all to be mean to me, it's just like, it comes up, they know I've been working hard and on putting one step in front of the other, been sober over 9 years, and I'm glad we can have an open, honest conversation about it. So keeping it green for me is really important, because if I ever forget how bad things were for me, I stand a chance of drinking again. I stand a chance of not putting the work into a gratitude practice. I stand to forget just why I should be grateful each day. Because I can bring myself back to that day, and no matter how bad the pain day is, anything is better than that day. Anything. So I say this all the time, but I view that day, it was the worst day of my life by far, but it was also the best day of my life, because I got my life back. I got the second chance from God, and I'm going to make the best of it. I live with chronic pain every single day. I don't love that at all. But I'm going to do what I can and utilize these tools, such as gratitude, such as mindfulness, such as setting intentions, such as saying 3 good things I did well today. All the positive questions we do in the group, I'm going to utilize all of those. Forgiveness, letting go, acceptance is another episode I went into in detail, which is incredibly important to living a good life with chronic pain and illness. But forgiveness is a big part of that. We need to forgive ourselves for things we've done in the past, because we can't get back the past. No matter how much we want to, we can't get it back. But what we can is, I mentioned doing a living amends with people in our life. We can also do a living amends for ourselves. We can just keep doing the next right thing, what we believe the next right thing to be. We can look at our past mistakes as learning lessons, because they are. We don't have to do that again. We can learn, we can adjust, we can pivot, we can say, how would I have done that differently? And we cannot do it again until the next time we make a mistake or a life lesson. So we need to forgive ourselves. We deserve that. We deserve that very much, because if we don't forgive ourselves, who's going to forgive us? We need to put one foot in front of the other. Well, we don't need to. I want to. I want you to. I want you to love your life more than you hate your pain. I want you to forgive yourself, and I want you to look at past mistakes as not regrets, but life lessons, and reasons to be grateful that right now you're not in that mess that you were in before. Maybe you think you caused your pain. Maybe you feel like you should have done something today. Maybe you had 5 things on your intention list. You got to 2. You feel like you should have done the other 3. That's nothing to hang on to. That's not a resentment. You do the best you can with your situation at that very moment. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that. If you sat and watched an extra episode of the show you're binge watching because you just felt like it, great. Good. As long as you're not staying stuck there forever, good. It's an extra chance to reboot. Your brain was telling you, I need this extra episode. So forgiveness not only applies to our family and friends in order to help us, but it also applies to us. We need to forgive ourselves and not resent ourselves. Life is too short to hang on to this stuff. And connection, I say this all the time, but our connections are incredibly important. We can't do this by ourselves. We are a cohesive unit. We are a planet that's just trying hard to get through this really challenging life. Life is hard. It is freaking hard. And whether you live with chronic pain and illness, or you're going through grief, or you are going through clinical depression, you live with anxiety, you're having financial struggles, whatever is going on in your life right now, or even if you're at the status quo and things aren't so bad right now, whatever we can do to help ourselves to live our best life is great, because happiness isn't going to just fall in our lap. We can lie to ourselves, or I shouldn't say lie to ourselves, we can fool ourselves by saying, you know, if only X, Y, and Z would happen, I can be happy. When does that ever happen? If only I got this new job, I would be happy. If only I could obtain this new car, I would be happy. These things don't make us happy. Happiness comes from the inside, and that doesn't come easily either. We need to work at it. And it should come as no surprise to you that I believe that working a regular gratitude practice, doesn't have to be a journal, can be a number of things, which I've talked about ad nauseum, both in the group, here on the vlog, in my writing. It can be a number of things. There's a million ways to do a regular gratitude practice. That paired with connection with others is the secret sauce to a life of joy and hope. And isn't that what we all want? We want happiness, but we also want hope. Because if we didn't have hope, what would be the point, right? All right, gang, I am heading to the farm stand. What time is it? 4:31. They close at 6. I'm going to be shucking for a while. I better go. Thanks, gang. I hope this episode was helpful to you, and I will see you next time. Peace and love. Get your gratitude on, and speak fluent gratitude. Okay, so the video really is over, but I'm just sitting here, and I'm laughing at myself because of the corn, and I just thought it was funny, so I thought I'd show you. So I got 2 dozen ears. I was told by Sherry, the farmer, who owns Country Fresh Farms in Hampton, New Jersey, that October 13th is the date to beware of. That's like their end date. So it wasn't panic mode, but my panic mode is still 2 dozen ears of corn. So here, what I cooked so far, this is me cutting off the cob. Got some boiling here, still some in the bag. And so I cook it, and I take my trusty, this is my favorite corn cutting off knife. I've tried like the corn kernel offer. We have a couple of those gizmos. I just don't like it. You know why? First of all, I can get really close to the cob like this, and I like the big chunks. So do my Rob and the kids do too. They're so sweet. So sweet. So I cook it, let it cool a little bit, and then I just cut it right off. Boom, boom, boom. Those gizmos, look, I've got them all. They just don't work. They don't get real close to the cob. They don't come off in these awesome chunks. They kind of cream the corn. If you're into creamed corn and you want creamed corn, that's awesome. I don't. My purpose is putting it into dishes and eventually freezing it if I can ever stop eating it long enough to actually freeze any. So this might be, let's see, what do we have? 2 more weeks, 2 weeks from today, actually. So I'm gonna cook this. I'm gonna maybe put half of it in the fridge, and I'll freeze half of it tomorrow. Maybe I'll go back at the end of the weekend, get another 2 dozen, and then maybe another 2 dozen. Oop, there's my timer for the corn. Yeah, have to get another couple dozen, absolutely. So anyway, thought I would tease myself and show you what a corn maniac I truly am. Oh, by the way, this is my counter. Today is September 29th when I'm filming this. And I still have that many tomatoes. Actually, that's just some of them. Got a bunch here on the counter too. Yeah, it's been a good year. And that's just the ones that are on the counter. I've got bags and bags and bags full that I still need to make sauce with. I already have a couple dozen jars. Yeah, I'm a bit of a hoarder. And so my addictions of the alcohol, they manifest into other things like corn, tomatoes, sauce, things like that. Anyway, all right, gang, that's it. This video really is on forgiveness, but Just thought I'd tease myself, because if you can't laugh at yourself, you're taking life too seriously. Bye, gang. Peace and love. Get your gratitude on and speak fluent gratitude. That's my new saying. It's got it on a shirt. It's in the Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain store, if you would like to buy one. But that's my new saying. Speak fluent gratitude. It will only get you good things in life. Bye, gang.